Hello, good morning. My name is C. Radhakrishna. I am working as senior lecturer in chemistry at Government Polytechnic College, Gadwal. For the last few classes, we have been dealing with the topic corrosion. We have learned what is corrosion. We have learned the effects of corrosion. We have seen what factors influence the rate of corrosion. That is whether corrosion happens fast or whether corrosion takes place slowly. This will be determined by certain factors. These factors determine, and what are those factors? The factors depending on the metal we have learned, the factors depending on the surrounding environment also we have learned. Okay. So in this class, let us say the preventive methods of corrosion, especially the use of protective coatings. Use of the protective coatings. Let us see in this class. In the previous classes, to recapitulate, we have learned what is corrosion. Corrosion is the slow and gradual disintegration of the metal due to the effect of surrounding environment. Okay, due to the effect of surrounding environment, that is called as corrosion. We have seen the factors affecting rate of corrosion, whether corrosion happens fast or whether the corrosion happens slowly. We have learned that because corrosion is interaction between the metal and its surrounding environment, there will be two sets of factors. One is the set of factors depending upon the metal, and another set of factors depending upon the environment, because it depends on the interaction between them. So the reactivity of the metal, if the metal is highly reactive, okay, the rate of corrosion will be faster. It interacts with the surrounding environment much more. For example, we have alkali and alkaline earth metals. Especially alkali metals are highly reactive. For example, sodium metal is, if it is exposed to air, it almost burns out by means of oxidation, by reacting with the oxygen present in the air. If it touches water, okay, it reacts quite violently with the water also, releasing hydrogen gas. So the sodium metal is stored in an inert solvent like kerosene. So the more reactive metal is, the more fast is the rate of corrosion. Okay. Then we have seen the position of metal in the electrochemical series. The higher is the position of the metal in the electrochemical series, the more reactive it is, and the faster will be rate of corrosion. And whenever two metals are in contact with each other, the metal higher in the series forms anode and undergoes corrosion because of its lower standard reduction potential and more reactivity. Okay. Likewise, as the grain size of the metal, particle size of the metal decreases, its surface area will increase, and the rate of corrosion will also increase. Actually, corrosion is a surface phenomena, because the surface of the metal, it is actually the surface of the metal that comes into contact with the surrounding environment. So corrosion is a surface phenomena. Whenever the surface area increases, the rate of corrosion will also increase. Okay. So as the grain size decreases, the surface area of the metal will increase, and so will the rate of corrosion will increase. Relative areas of anode and cathode. It is cathode which accepts electrons from the anode. The more is the area of cathode, the larger is the area of cathode, the more demand it exerts on the anode for the electrons, more requirement of electrons of the cathode. So rate of corrosion is directly proportional to the area of the cathode. The larger is the cathode, the faster will be the rate of corrosion, and vice versa. Likewise, if the products of corrosion are soluble in the surrounding environment, okay, fresh surface of metal will be exposed, again it reacts, again the products will dissolve, the process goes on and on. Okay, so the faster the if products of corrosion are soluble in the surrounding environment, the rate of corrosion will be faster. The rate of corrosion will be faster. Then again, the factors relating to the environment. Okay, factors relating to the environment. Corrosion is a chemical reaction. Okay, so as the temperature increases, the rate of corrosion will also increase. The higher is the temperature, the faster will be the rate of corrosion. Likewise, humidity influences humidity or water vapor present in the environment or atmosphere, surrounding ambient atmosphere. It will influence the rate of corrosion. The more is the water vapor, the faster will be the rate of corrosion. Likewise, presence of reactive gases like oxides of carbon dioxide, oxygen, oxides of sulfur, oxides of nitrogen, etc. They will also enhance or increase the rate of corrosion. Okay, and pH, last factor is pH. The higher is the pH value, acidic pH. Metals are basic in nature. We have learned from the previous classes. Metals are basic in nature. So the higher is the acidic pH will influence the rate of corrosion. It will increase and enhance rate of corrosion. Acidic environment promotes the corrosion. Okay, whereas neutral and basic pH will not support corrosion. They will not influence the rate of corrosion. These are the factors that influence the rate of corrosion. Next, we have seen the electrochemical theory of corrosion, which proposes that corrosion is because of electrochemical interaction of environment with the surrounding environment with the metal. Okay, metals are basically electropositive in nature. Due to electrochemical attack of the surrounding environment, a series of anodes and cathodes are formed on the surface of the metal. Okay, the same thing happens whenever two different metals are in contact with each other in the presence of some electrolyte. One anode and cathode in the presence of conducting medium form a galvanic cell. So electrochemical theory proposes that corrosion is because of formation of galvanic cells. Okay, how these galvanic cells are formed, it seeks to explain in three ways. Formation of composition cells, formation of composition cells, formation of stress cells, and formation of concentration cells. So composition cells are formed whenever two different metals are in contact with each other in the presence of electrolyte. The metal higher in the electrochemical series forms anode and undergoes corrosion. The metal lower in the series, electrochemical series, will not forms cathode, and it will not undergo any sort of corrosion. It will not undergo any sort of corrosion. Okay. For instance, if zinc and copper are in contact with each other in the presence of electrolyte, okay, zinc being higher in the electrochemical series forms anode and undergoes corrosion, whereas copper being lower in the electrochemical series turns into cathode and it will not undergo corrosion. Next is formation of stress cells. See, the same metal object, okay, in the same metal object, different parts may be experiencing different amounts of stress and strain. For example, you are driving a nail into the wall. Where will be stress? At the tip of the nail, which goes into the wall, and on the head where you are hitting with a hammer. These two parts are more stressed parts. To withstand this more stress, they are endowed with a higher energy, and they become more reactive. Because of the higher energy, they become more reactive and they turn into anode. The middle part of the nail turns into cathode, okay, and this anodic part starts corroding. Okay, that's how the more stress part turns into anode and undergoes corrosion. That's how the galvanic cell is formed, and your conducting medium will always be present everywhere by default. So we need not specifically look for this conducting medium. It will be there by default, almost by default it will be there everywhere. Next is the formation of concentration cells. The formation of concentration cells. These concentration cells are formed because of differential exposure of different parts of metal to aerial atmospheric oxygen. The part with higher oxygen concentration turns into cathode because oxygen passivates the metal or deactivates the metal. Okay, so the part with higher oxygen concentration is deactivated relative to the part with a lower oxygen concentration. Okay, so the part with the lower oxygen concentration is more active, obviously turns into anode and undergoes corrosion. For instance, think of a zinc rod dipped into sodium chloride solution, okay, sodium chloride solution, and partially dipped, okay. Some part is submerged. Submerged part has a less oxygen concentration in it around it, whereas the aerial part has more oxygen concentration around it. So the aerial part is deactivated by higher oxygen concentration. It turns into cathode, and the submerged part with less oxygen concentration is relatively more reactive. Okay, so it turns into anode and undergoes corrosion. Okay, that's how the concentration cells are formed. They are also called as differential aeration cells. Okay, this is how galvanic cells are formed. Which metal undergoes corrosion in the galvanic cell? Can anybody tell me? We have been discussing, right? The metal which turns into anode, which is more reactive, which is higher in the electrochemical series, turns into anode, and that anodic metal undergoes corrosion in the galvanic cell. It's quite evident, right? Okay. You know, a lot of amount of iron is wasted by corrosion. Yesterday, when we have discussed this corrosion, we have discussed that, lot of amount of iron, nearly 20% of annual production of iron is being used only to replace the metal lost by means of corrosion. So widespread is the corrosion, right? So widespread is the corrosion. Okay, there is a heavy loss on account of corrosion without knowing. Okay, nearly 1/5 of the iron produced every year is only to replace the material lost because of corrosion. Okay, this corrosion causes hole formation, leakages, loss of property, danger of accidents, many things, because corrosion causes weakening of the metal, and that may ultimately lead to formation of holes or leakages either from the pipes or from others, loss of property and danger of accidents, etc. Hence corrosion should be prevented. We must take measures to prevent corrosion, okay, because accidents cause a lot of damage. Okay, so we must take, see, the other day, recently, fresh in memory, recently in the Hindustan shipyard at Vizag, okay, a crane has collapsed. It's because of weakness at the stand at the bottom of the crane, killing 10 people instantly. That is mostly because of the corrosion and consequent weakening of the metal, which the concerned company did not take into account, unfortunately. Okay, so corrosion is a very big issue. We don't realize actually, but it's a very big issue. Okay, so let us see how to prevent the corrosion. Some of the methods to prevent corrosion. Okay, some of the methods to prevent corrosion. The following methods are used to prevent corrosion. See, what can we do is corrosion is because of interaction between the metal and surrounding environment. Okay, so either we can change the properties of the metal or we can modify the environment. If you change the properties of metal, we can see that it will not undergo corrosion. Okay, or if you cannot change the properties of metal, imagine, okay, metal is as such, we have to use metal as such. So we can change the environment in the immediate vicinity of the metal, in the surrounding of the metal, the environment part, we can try to change the environmental part. Okay, that we can change, try to change, that can be done. Okay, so Either the properties of the metal can be changed or the environment surrounding the metal can be modified, maybe by removing the reactive gases like say rate of corrosion increases by the presence of the reactive gases we have seen, right? These reactive gases will cause extensive corrosion. Okay, reactive gases cause extensive corrosion. Okay, so we can or humidity also causes leads to corrosion, or oxygen causes corrosion, water vapor causes corrosion, pH acidic pH will cause corrosion. Okay, so by modifying the environment suitably we can prevent corrosion. Either we can change the properties of metal, or we can make required modifications or changes in the surrounding environment of the metal. Okay, or we can also use protective coatings. These protective coatings are applied to the metallic surface and they sit on the metallic surface. They act as a barrier between these protective coatings will act as a barrier. They act as a barrier between the metal surface and the surrounding environment, and they prevent the environment from coming into contact with the metal. Only if the environment comes into contact with the metal, interacts with the metal surface, then it causes corrosion. If this interaction is prevented and cut off, so corrosion will not happen. So we can use protective coatings. We can apply protective coatings to the surface of the metal, okay, to prevent the corrosion. Next is cathodic protection. It is a special way of protecting metal from the corrosion by turning the metal object which we want to protect. See, the metal object which we want to protect, we can selectively turn it into a cathode. Because all these times we have been listening that only anode undergoes corrosion and nothing happens to the cathode. So if you can somehow by some means, if you can turn your metal object to be protected, okay, into a cathode, it will not undergo corrosion. So three methods of the prevention of corrosion we have. One is the modification of environment. The second is the use of protective coatings. Third is cathodic protection. In the cathodic protection, we are changing the metal object which we need to protect into a cathode. That is again the modification of metallic properties. Okay, so we'll first today see the modification of environment. Okay, the modification of environment. Modification of environment can be done by de-aeration. The air surrounding the immediate vicinity, immediate surroundings of the metal can be removed. That is process called as de-aeration. This can be done by adjustment of temperature and removal of oxygen from the. There are certain chemicals which absorb oxygen. Okay, if certain such chemicals are used around the metal, okay, the oxygen can be removed and the corrosion caused by this oxygen can be reduced. Okay, next deactivation. Certain chemicals like hydrogen, sodium sulfite will deactivate the metal. When the metal is deactivated, its reactivity will obviously is reduced, and when this reactivity is reduced, it will not react much and will not turn into metallic products and will not undergo corrosion. Next is the process of dehumidification. See, we have discussed that humidity, that is presence of water vapor, enhances or increases the rate of corrosion. Okay, water vapor is an active ingredient of the environment which leads to the corrosion. So removal of humidity, this humidity from the surroundings of metal can be removed by adding certain chemicals like silica gel, alumina gel, etc. Okay, that is called as a process of dehumidification. Okay, Have you ever purchased chewing gums in a box? Plastic box will be there. Okay, in that box, along with the chewing gum pieces, you will have a small silica gel packet. Okay, a small silica gel packet. In it, on that they will print that harmful, don't consume. Okay, you have to throw it out, that silica gel packet. This silica gel packet is also included in the box which contains your chewing pieces of chewing gum. Okay, this chewing gum pieces, especially the color added to that, it's a bit hygroscopic. It absorbs water from the surroundings and turn moist. To prevent that, silica gel, small sachet of small packet of silica gel is also added, packed along with these pieces of chewing gum. This silica gel absorbs the water or humidity or water vapor present in the air, and it because of that, these pieces of chewing gum will not turn moist. Okay, so silica gel or alumina gel can be used, okay, for dehumidification of the metal. Okay, dehumidification of metal, these can be used. Then alkaline addition. Say we have seen that acidic environment promotes the rate of corrosion. Okay, acidic environment causes the corrosion. So this acidic environment around the metal can be neutralized by application of calcium oxide or ammonia or sodium hydroxide or sodium carbonate or sodium bicarbonate. All these are basic in nature. By application of these things, okay, acidic environment can be neutralized or turned into alkaline environment, which prevents the corrosion. Okay. Next is alloy formation, modification. Another way of modification of environment or modification of metal properties is alloy formation. What's an alloy? An alloy is defined as a homogeneous mixture of two or more metals. Homogeneous mixture of two or more metals with metallic properties. Sometimes a trace amount of non-metals will also be present, like carbon present in the stainless steel. Okay, an alloy is defined as a homogeneous mixture of two or more metals with metallic properties. Homogeneous means its composition will be identical throughout the bulk of the metal alloy. Okay, composition will not change. It's homogeneous means. Okay, when the metals are alloyed suitably, okay, there will be the reactivity of the metals is considerably reduced. They become less reactive. In an alloy, the metals become very less reactive, so their reactivity is reduced considerably in the alloy. Hence, corrosion of the metal is reduced to a large extent. For example, coinage metals, domestic utensils are made up of stainless steel. Stainless steel will not undergo corrosion. We all know that stainless steel will not undergo corrosion. We are all aware of it. Okay. Next, use of the protective coatings. Okay. These can be a metal is, say it is the metal surface of the metal that comes into contact with the surrounding environment. Okay, metallic surface, metallic surface, because corrosion, this surface is the part of the metal which comes into contact with the surrounding environment. If you can cut off interaction between the metallic surface and surrounding environment, corrosion will not happen. The interaction is not there, so corrosion will not happen. So a metal is coated with a suitable material to prevent corrosion, to prevent contact of environment with the metallic surface. This coating acts as a physical barrier. It acts as a physical barrier and prevents the contact of environment with the metallic surface. So the two are separated. Since environment is not coming into contact with the metallic surface, okay, there is no interaction between them, so corrosion will not happen. Okay, there we have three types of these protective coatings. The protective coatings are of three types. Okay, first is metallic coatings, second is inorganic coatings, the third is organic coatings. Metallic coatings, inorganic coatings and organic coatings. Okay, first let us take up one by one. First let us take up metallic coatings. Okay, in the metallic coating, the metal object which is to be protected, okay, is coated with the another metal, is coated with the another metal. The metal object which is to be coated is called as a base metal. Okay, the metal object which is to be coated is called as a base metal, and the metal with which we are coating the base metal is called as a noble metal. The metal with which we are coating is called as a noble metal. Previously, in the case of composition cell, formation of composition cell, we have seen that okay, whenever two metals are in contact with each other in the presence of conducting medium, okay, the metal higher in the series forms anode, and the metal lower in the series forms cathode. Okay, so here what are we doing? Here we are taking a metal object and giving a coating it with the another metal. Is it not? So this coated metal with which we are coating the base metal object may be higher in the electrochemical series than the base metal object, or may be lower in the series, electrochemical series, than the base metal object. So depending upon the relative positions of base metal and the coating, okay, the coated metal may form either anode, or the coated metal may form our cathode. So if the coated metal is higher than the base metal object in the electrochemical series, the coating is called as anodic coating. Okay, the coating is called as anodic coating, and if the base metal object is higher and the coated metal is lower in the electrochemical series, okay, the coated metal forms a cathode, so coating, the metallic coating is called as a cathodic coating. Okay, let us learn about this with examples. Okay, so basically in the metallic coating, a base metal object is coated with another noble metal. Okay, so because of the contact, there are two possibilities. The coated metal may turn into anode, or the coated metal may form cathode. Okay, let us see here. Okay, anodic coating. In this coating, the more reactive metal is coated on a less reactive metal. More reactive metal is coated, that is a metal which is higher than the base metal in the electrochemical series, okay, is coated on the base metal, that is, okay. So the base metal object turns into cathode, whereas the coated metal, the metallic coating, turns into anode. The metallic coating turns into anode, base metal turns into cathode. Okay. Example is coating of zinc on the iron. Between zinc and iron, zinc is higher in the electrochemical series. Zinc is higher in the electrochemical series than iron. Okay, higher in the electrochemical series than iron. So when zinc comes into contact with iron, iron is coated with zinc. Okay, zinc being higher in the electrochemical series turns into anode, and iron being lower in the series forms cathode. So the base metal turns into cathode, and coated metal is turning into anode. See, for pipelines, we use iron pipes, which are a sort of white in color. Okay, a sort of white, in dirty white in color. Okay, they are called as GI pipes. If you go to shop, they call them as GI pipes. This GI stands for galvanized iron pipes. These are the actually iron pipes. Okay, To prevent corrosion, because water flows through them, there is every possibility of their undergoing corrosion. Okay, so they are coated with a zinc metal. Zinc is higher in the electrochemical series than iron. Okay, so these pipes are called GI pipes, in short for galvanized iron pipes. They are called as coating of zinc over iron is called as galvanization. Okay, so these pipes are called galvanized. These pipes are called galvanized iron pipes. Okay, so the coated metal zinc is turning into anode, whereas the base metal iron is turning into cathode. Okay. Next, cathodic coating. In this coating, base metal is coated with the another metal which is less reactive than the base metal. That is, the coated metal is lower in the electrochemical series than the base metal. Okay. For example, tin is lower in the electrochemical series. Tin is lower in the electrochemical series than iron. If iron is coated with tin, okay, tin forms the cathode and underlying iron forms anode. Okay, underlying iron object forms anode. So here the coated metal is turning into cathode, so it is called as a cathodic coating. Okay, it is called as a cathodic coating. Okay, coating of tin coating on iron is called example. Okay, let's see the differences between the anodic and cathodic coating. Okay, anodic coating is produced by covering a base metal with a anodic metal which is higher in the electrochemical series than the base metal. Okay, and cathodic coating is produced by, we are seeing the differences between the anodic coating and cathodic coating. Okay, so anodic coating is produced by coating the base metal object with another metal which is higher in the electrochemical series than the base metal, whereas cathodic coating is produced by coating the base metal with another metal which is lower in the electrochemical series than the base metal. So in the anodic coating, the base metal turns into cathode, whereas in the cathodic coating, the base metal turns into anode. Okay. So in the case of anodic coating, the electrode potential of coated metal is lower. Electrode potential here means standard reduction potential. We mean it as a standard reduction potential. So in the case of anodic coating, the standard reduction potential SRP of coated metal is lower than that of the base metal, whereas in the cathodic coating, the SRP standard reduction potential of coated metal is higher than that of the base metal. Higher than that of the base metal. Okay. So in the anodic coating, anode undergoes corrosion to protect the base metal object. So the protection is by the sacrifice of the anodic metal. So the anodic metal sacrifices the underlying base metal sacrificially, whereas in the case of cathodic protection, okay, cathodic protection, the base metal is turning into object and coated metal is turning into cathode. Cathode is inherently resistant to corrosion. So in the case of cathodic coatings, the coated metal protects the underlying base metal due to higher corrosion resistance of the cathodic metal. Okay, due to higher corrosion resistance. In the anodic coating, its protection is by the sacrifice of anodic coating, whereas in the cathodic coating, it is because of protection is because of higher corrosion resistance of cathodic coating. Okay, and in the case of anodic coating, the base metal is turning into cathode. So even if the base metal is exposed due to cracks or holes, nothing happens to the base metal because base metal is turning into cathode. Okay, even if here and there base metal is exposed also, nothing will happen because it's turning into base metal object is turning into a cathode. Whereas in the case of cathodic protection, the base metal is turning into anode. So if base metal is exposed because of cracks or holes in the coating, the base metal undergoes corrosion in the case of cathodic coating. Okay. Example is for ionic coating, zinc coating on iron for ionic coating. For the cathodic coating, tin coating on the iron is the example for the cathodic coating. Okay. These are the differences between the anodic and cathodic coatings. Next, this will lead us to the inorganic coatings. Okay. The phosphate coatings. First, there are three types: phosphate coatings, chromate coatings, chemical oxide coatings. The phosphate coatings, zinc and manganese phosphates are applied on the iron and steel. Okay. To apply this, the iron is dipped into a solution containing zinc phosphates and manganese phosphates, whereupon that is okay, these phosphates will collect, okay, are collected on the surface of the iron metal. Okay, so iron object is dipped into the solution containing zinc phosphate and magnesium phosphate to give it phosphatic coatings, coatings. Okay. Next, chromate coatings. Okay. Potassium chromate is used on zinc. Potassium chromate is used on zinc. Actually, here also the first the metal is dipped into the zinc metal, which is to be protected, is dipped into acidified potassium chromate, and then it is dipped into the neutral potassium chromate. Okay, so the potassium chromate layer is formed on the surface of the zinc metal. Okay, these phosphates and chromates are inorganic materials. That is why we call that as okay, inorganic coatings. Then chemical oxide coatings. See, the oxide layer width, thickness can be increased by electrolysis methods. So the corrosion resistance, as the thickness of this oxide layer increases, the corrosion resistance of will also increase. Okay, corrosion resistance will also increase. Organic coatings, paints we will discuss a little later in the next class. Okay, varnishes, the metal object to be protected is coated with varnish. This varnish, when applied to the metallic surface, it forms a hard protective film on the iron and controls the corrosion. It forms a hard protective film on the surface of the iron. Okay, and it prevents contact of environment with the iron surface. Next, paints. Paints are viscous suspension of resins. Okay, when applied to the metals, all these organic metals, they form a thin layer, thin protective film on the metallic surface, cutting off contact between the metal surface and the surrounding environment. Paints also do the same. Lacquers. Lacquers are used mainly for decorative purpose. Apart from the prevention of corrosion, they are also useful in the decoration purpose. They are thick, tough, glossy layer. When lacquers are applied, a thick, tough and glossy layer is formed on the surface of the base metal object, iron object, which prevents corrosion. Okay, enamel. Enamels are also, these enamels are, they occur in different colors. They are also basically varnishes with suitable pigment, coloring agent. Pigment means here coloring agent. Enamels are pigmented varnishes which produce hard film on the metallic surface, which cuts the contact of surrounding the environment, with the metals. Emulsions. Emulsions are dispersion of synthetic resins and oils. They are dispersions of synthetic resins and oils to reduce corrosion. They are dispersions of synthetic resins and oils. Okay, disperse to reduce corrosion. Dispersions of okay, emulsions are dispersions of synthetic resins and oils Okay, these are applied to the metallic surface. So in the organic coatings, they are mainly made up of carbon compounds. All these organic coatings are basically, organic means carbon related. Okay, because organos means life. Living organisms are made up of carbon compounds, because proteins are the building blocks of all the living organisms. These proteins are made up of carbons, they are carbon compounds. So organic coatings contain only carbon compounds. Okay, these organic coatings, we have got five different types of organic coatings. They are varnishes, which form hard protective film on the iron surface, and prevents the contact between the surface of iron and surrounding environment. Next, paints can also be used. These are viscous suspensions of resins, and when these applied, they form a, all these organic coatings when applied to the metallic surface and dried, left for some time, they form a hard and continuous non-porous film. All these form hard, continuous and non-porous film on the surface of the metal. Okay. Next, lacquers. Next, lacquers. Lacquers are thick, tough and glossy material which not only protect the corrosion but also give decorative appearance to the surfaces, metallic surfaces. Okay. Next, enamels. Enamels are nothing but varnishes, but with different colors, coloring agent, like called pigments. Okay, pigments, pigmented varnishes. They also produce hard films on the metallic surface to prevent contact between the metal surface and environment. Emulsions are also, they are also dispersions of synthetic resins and pigmented, okay, pigmented with pigments and oils to reduce the corrosion. When all these are organic materials are applied to the metallic surface, be it varnishes, paints, lacquers, enamels or emulsions, all these are applied to the metallic surface. Okay, they form a continuous non-porous film on the metallic surface, which prevents the contact of the environment with the metallic surface and thereby preventing the corrosion. Okay, thereby preventing the corrosion. Okay, we have learned, what have we discussed about? We have discussed about protective coatings. Protective coatings are the coatings applied to the metallic surface, okay, to prevent the contact of surrounding environment with the metallic surface, contact of surrounding environment with the metallic surface. Okay, there are three types: metallic coatings, inorganic coatings, organic coatings. Metallic coatings, say, is a coating of a noble metal on the base metal. Since both are metals, okay, the coated metal may be higher in the electrochemical series than the base metal, or lower in the electrochemical series than the base metal. So, depending upon the relative positions of the base metal and coated metal, the metallic coatings are of two types. Okay, anodic coatings and cathodic coatings. Okay, we have seen with these with examples, and also the differences between anodic coatings and cathodic coatings also we have seen. Okay, for anodic coatings, coating of zinc on the iron surface is example of anodic coating, and a coating of tin on the surface of the iron is called as is example for the cathodic coatings. Okay, we have seen the examples, what happens when these are coated, how they are protected, how they offer the protection, all these things we have seen. Okay, next comes inorganic coatings. Inorganic coatings are again three types: phosphate coatings, chromate coatings and oxide coatings. Okay, oxide coatings, these three we have seen. And then we came to the organic coatings. Organic coatings also we have varnishes, lacquers, paints, enamels, etc. Okay, these organic coatings also we have seen with examples. Okay, we have seen. And let us see, to strengthen our test our understanding and strengthen our standing, let's see a few quiz questions. The essay questions asked from this topic here are: what are the differences between anodic and cathodic coatings? This is one of the pet questions of the examiners. What are the differences between anodic and cathodic coatings? Okay. Next, state different organic materials used as protective coatings. This can as well be asked. Okay. Next, let's try to solve a few quiz questions to enhance our understanding, test and enhance our understanding. Okay. Metal with a higher oxidation potential is used as a anodic coating. Okay. Higher oxidation potential. Yeah. Is used as a anodic coating. Okay. Next, metal below iron in the chemical series like silver, copper are coated or iron. Since these metals are below the iron, okay, they are more noble and they are less reactive. When they coat iron, since they are less reactive than the iron, they form cathode. So such coatings are called as cathodic coatings. Okay. Next, when organic paints, varnishes are used, okay, they reduce corrosion by oxidation, they increase corrosion of metals, they stop corrosion by film formation. I have just mentioned when I discussed organic paints and varnishes, etc., organic coatings, they form a continuous, non-porous, thin film on the surface of the metal and prevent corrosion by stopping the contact of surrounding environment with the metal. It acts as a physical barrier. Okay. Corrosion is controlled by raising the purity of the metal. Yeah, more impurity is more corrosion, less impurity is less corrosion. So increasing the impurity will reduce the corrosion. Next, reducing the strain. Okay, reducing the strain also will not, if strain is reduced, anode galvanic cell formation is also reduced, corrosion can be controlled by metallic coatings. By metallic coatings also you can control the corrosion. Okay, but answer is all of the above. By all the three methods, okay, we can control the corrosion. So the answer is D. Okay, with this we conclude our lecture. Okay, thank you for listening to the lecture.